Well, hey, today is Tuesday, September the 7th, 2021, and we're just over 2.5 weeks away from bow season here in Arkansas, and to say I'm excited about kicking that off is an understatement. So today, we have been doing a lot of work getting ready for it. Scouted a lot of deer, ran a bunch of trail cameras, and so today I will be showing you my hit list, but this hit list, we're not going to call it the hit list. Instead, I'm just going to say from the start, welcome to the Freak Show. These deer that I've been watching this year, some of the craziest deer that I've ever seen in my life, just points going everywhere and just crazy looking. And so it'll be exciting to chase them this season and see if we can catch up with some of them. And so before I show you the Freak Show, I'll tell you a little bit about how I've been preparing for this season. The past few weeks I've been spraying food plots to kill off the weeds. I've cleared some shooting lanes, mowed some trails, just doing all the prep work on the front end of things to get ready for season. So I've got all my spots ready to go for my fall food plots, which will be primarily winter wheat, winter rye, and then some clover that should really take off in the spring. And so I will plant them probably first part of next week. That'll put it around the middle part of September, and that should help us to get cooler temperatures, a little bit more rain, and should really give the seed a chance to take off and do well this fall. And so I also tried something last week that I've never done before. I put in some landscape timbers and cut a branch to make a scrape tree licking branch sort of thing. And I've seen people do it online, and so I tried it. Haven't put a camera over it yet to see if the deer are using it yet, but I would bet as the velvet falls off and they start to get more into a fall pattern that it won't be too long at all before they start using that. And it's in bow range of my deer stands, and so that should be pretty fun to watch. All right, so now for the Freak Show. The first one up on the list is we call him RJ because his right side of his rack, I don't know if it's the brow tine or what, but one of his antlers makes a J, and just goofy looking. I think he still doesn't have just a ton of points. Still probably a young deer, and so he's not that high up on the hit list, but he is a non-typical. He's unique. There's no telling what he'll look like next year, and so he would be a fun one to chase and to get a shot at, just to look at up close. I still don't have the best idea of how many points he has just because in velvet it's hard to tell. But so first one's RJ. The next one, I'm just going to call him Moose. I don't have any idea what happened to him. I don't know if it was an injury while he was in velvet, but his left side of his rack is just all mangled up. And what it looks like in velvet is that it's just a solid mass of points, or of antler on that side. I think he's got 10 or 11 points, but we may have to wait till after the velvet sheds before we can tell for sure what he's going to have this year. Another deer on the hit list on another property, I'm calling him Scar. I think he's an old deer. He hung around at my parents' place last winter, showed up probably early December, and just never left the property really. He's been around there pretty consistently all through the year since last December, but he has a big scar across his back, and so that's how I've kept track of him. And he's only, I think, a 7-pointer this year, and so his rack isn't really that impressive, but I believe he is an older deer. He's already starting to go downhill with his rack size, and so he'd be a fun one to chase, and even cooler if my mom or dad were able to get a shot at him. And so he's neat. Another deer that's going to be fun to chase is Charlie from last year at another property. He's back. He is I don't even know how wide, just a super wide 8-pointer, and he is fairly consistent on camera on that property. He also got it would be an 8-pointer. He broke off the end of his main beam. He is He's a cool looking deer, just got great tine length and great mass. Main beams are nice and long, just nice frame all around, but he just broke off the end of his beam, and so I don't have a name for him yet. He's just a typical 8-pointer, just good looking deer. And that brings us back out here for the last two on the top of the freak show. One of them, he just came out of nowhere. I don't know that we've got any history with this deer or not, but he is a perfect 10-pointer, and so I'm calling him 10 out of 10 because, I mean, he fits everything. Got the mass, got 10 points. I've always wanted to kill a 10-pointer. First year out here, I shot one that almost had 10 points, but he had a eye guard broke off. And so I'm calling him just 10 out of 10 because he's perfect. He's got the mass, the tine length, the main beam length, the spread, everything. Just beautiful looking deer. I think he's still maybe 3.5 years old at the oldest. And so if he survives this year, then I think he'd be really impressive next year. But with all the hunting pressure around here, I wouldn't pass him up. And then at the top of the hit list is a return buck from last year. It's a deer that I named Beast Jr. He was around last summer. Never saw him in person, but got lots of trail camera pictures of him. He was here early season, left for the rut, came back after that, and just never got a shot at him. And so he is back, and he has put on even more points, more length, more mass, but same overall shape as last year. And he is super consistent out here, which right now all the bucks are running together, and they're all fairly daylight active right now. And so he is my number one target. He's got, we'll see once the velvet falls off, 14 or 15 points though, and just crazy looking. He's a mainframe 10 with all these little kicker points, and not very wide at all, but he's tall and just cool looking all the way around. I would love to get a shot at that deer. And so that is the freak show this year. Crazy looking deer, but it's going to be a lot of fun chasing them with only 2.5 weeks left. Still got a lot of work to do, but I'm excited about the process of getting to that point. Things are looking really good here in Central Arkansas. I can't wait. The one guarantee we always have is that no matter what happens or doesn't happen out here in the woods, every time we go, it's always an Arkansas adventure.